It's interesting when you hear the Commissioner speak, and I've heard the Commissioner speak on a number of occasions, where he talks about the changing culture for policing and how targets really are not the aim of the game. I have never been a fan of targets, and despite the introduction, where I was the lead officer nationally to try and increase detection rates across the UK, because police forces were not detecting crime as they should have been, versus the investment that was being put into them.
Let's just go back and analyse what he said there.
It's interesting when you hear the Commissioner speak, and I've heard the Commissioner speak on a number of occasions, where he talks about the changing...
Noticed how he repeats the issue about hearing the Commissioner speak? This small act of repetition of a truth is the telltale tick that Nick Adderley has when he is about to lie. Unless you're aware of the tick and you're watching out for it, some of Adderley's more casual lies could very easily pass you by. What follows next is Adderley lying, claiming he was the lead officer nationally to increase crime detection rates.
I have never been a fan of targets, and despite the introduction, where I was the lead officer nationally to try and increase detection rates across the UK, because police forces were not detecting crime as they should have been, versus the investment that was being put into them.
Chief officers in England and Wales are part of the National Police Chiefs Council, and they all hold national portfolios. Chief officers, for anyone unaware, are the ranks of Assistant Chief Constable, Deputy Chief Constable, and then Full Chief Constable. This event was filmed on the 6th of March 2014 at the British Security Industry Association event in Manchester. At this time, Adderley is only a Chief Superintendent, as he did not reach Assistant Chief Constable until November 2015, the next year, when he transferred to Staffordshire Police. Putting aside the issue of Adderley's rank, the Home Office website shows that at the Public Administration Committee on the 11th of December 2013, Jeff Farrar was the national lead on crime and statistics, covering issues such as detection rates. He compiled his evidence based on his own consultation with 43 different forces, with no mention of Nick Adderley anywhere. Going back before Jeff, we had Deputy Chief Constable Douglas Paxton, clearly listed in the same job in 2012. Here he is in the Telegraph newspaper in October 2012, giving a statement about crime detection rates. Here he is in the Independent newspaper in April 2012, talking about the same issue. Here's a tweet from the National Police Chiefs Council in April 2012 about crime statistics up to December 2011. The report and all articles have made no mention of Nick Adderley. Now, I could go on like this for quite a while, but suffice to say, with this article from The Independent in October 2009, there are now 5 years worth of press releases and Home Office documents, none of which make any reference whatsoever to Nick Adderley having any involvement in even peripherally working on this project of crime detection rates, much less being the lead officer nationally as he claims. So unless Nick Adderley is trying to claim that he had this role prior to Douglas Paxton, when he would have only been a chief inspector, you realise this is yet another lie, and you start to see the same patterns emerging, making out he worked on projects far in excess of his rank and claiming someone else's hard work and glory as his own. This exaggeration, claiming he worked on a national project, might seem trivial on its own, but it speaks to the wider issues and the deep-rooted personality defects Nick Adderley has, being a pathological liar and his inability to be honest about anything. He wore service medals and claimed he saw people die in the Falklands War, a war he never fought in. He was still in school at the time. He claimed he was a commander in the Navy, when in actual fact he was just a rating and never even made an officer rank. He claimed that he served within the Navy for 10 years. In reality, he did less than 2, working amongst other things, being a pub landlord at the Houghton Arms in the Wirral. He then claimed he was involved in the Soham murders, having private one-to-one meetings with David Blunkett investigating the chief officers of Cambridgeshire and Humberside Police back in 2002. He was not actually at the Home Office until 2006, long after David Blunkett had left and the Bishard inquiry into Ian Huntley had concluded. These are just small examples of Adderley lying in public for attention and gratification, where sufficient research into public records can expose his lies. Do you honestly believe a man that lies so easily and frequently has approached his policing duties with any degree of integrity? The fact sufficient evidence has been produced to put him under criminal investigation by Staffordshire Police for fraud relating to maintenance of police vehicles tends to answer that question. The reason that the IOPC are trying to keep a lid on matters and brush the whole thing under the carpet is that they realise the scale of his lies, going all the way back to when he joined in 1992. The impact of this mean that any statement he has ever given, and thus any convictions ever achieved from his involvement in a case, will be deemed unsafe and open the floodgates to potentially thousands of appeals of those wrongly convicted by his evidence and testimony. He is currently enjoying suspension while matters proceed at a glacial pace, drawing a very comfortable salary of £14,000 per month. If you do want to do your part, please can I ask you take out just 2 minutes of your time to sign the petition calling for his immediate dismissal and the withholding of his pension that he obtained unlawfully. The link is in the description. Please like and subscribe for more, as I will be bringing you more news about Nick Adderley as evidence is uncovered.